Hello, for my sons Jeff and Stan Hitchens, I'm Stan Hitchens. And today, we're in Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania, Wilmington, and Newcastle, Delaware. Today we want to highlight the life of Thomas Garrett. Thomas Garrett was an abolitionist and a towering figure in the Underground Railroad. He personally shepherded over 2,700 human beings out of the bonds of slavery and into freedom. Thomas Garrett was born in 1789, the son of a Quaker landowning farmer and toolmaker. Thomas grew up on the farm of his father, Riverview, a very large farm located in what is now the Drexel Hill section of Upper Darby, Pennsylvania. This is where Thomas learned the skill of blacksmithing and tool making. Today I'm standing in front of Fernland, the farmhouse of Thomas's brother Isaac, which once was part of Riverview. It currently sits on the grounds of Arlington Cemetery in Upper Darby, Pennsylvania. It was around 1813 that a young Thomas Garrett and his brothers executed the rescue of one of their family's African-American female servants who had been kidnapped by slave hunters who intended to take her below the Mason-Dixon line and sell her into slavery. The rescue was successful, but the event so shook Thomas Garrett, so affected him, that he decided right then and there that he was going to devote the rest of his life to the abolition of slavery and to freeing as many human beings from the bondage of slavery as he could.
Also in 1813, Thomas Garrett married a woman named Mary Sharpless and moved into this home here named Thornfield, which currently resides in Drexel Hill on Garrett Road. It was here that he began his career as a station master for the Underground Railroad, channeling runaway slaves through his home here, as well as his brother Isaac's home, Fernland, which had underground hidden chambers which were perfect for concealing such slaves. Eventually, Thomas and Mary moved to Wilmington, Delaware to be closer to the Maryland border and be a more effective station master in the Underground Railroad. It was around this time that he began working with William Still, a free African-American businessman and station master from Philadelphia. Through this collaboration, he became the busiest station master on the Eastern Railroad and allowed him to move way more slaves through the Delmarva Peninsula, through southeastern Pennsylvania, Delaware County, Chester County, Philadelphia, and northwards into freedom.
I'm standing on the corner of 4th and Shipley here in Wilmington, Delaware. It was here where Garrett built a house and a blacksmith business. Today, it is the site of a community college, and other than this historical marker, no trace of Garrett remains.
Thomas Garrett operated as a station master for the Underground Railroad openly. All the officials in the state of Delaware and in Maryland, they knew well what he was doing. They tried to catch him, but they never could. He was so skilled at hiding slaves and smuggling slaves that they just couldn't catch him. Until 1848, when his luck ran out, and he wound up being arrested and convicted of the Fugitive Slave Act here at the Newcastle courthouse. The judge that convicted him and fined him was none other than Roger B. Taney, the Supreme Court Justice. The same Roger B. Taney that 9 years later would author the infamous Dred Scott decision. That decision propelled the United States into the Civil War. For Garrett, it ruined him. The fines were so severe that he had to sell his businesses, he had to cash in everything he had, and he had to return to Wilmington without a penny, flat and broke. He was out of business. So Thomas Garrett is broken financially, and he has to leave here at Newcastle and return to Wilmington a pauper without a penny to his name. What does he find when he returns? He finds that his fellow worshipers at the Wilmington Quaker Friend meeting had bought back all of his businesses, all of his property, and replenished his finances, and put him right back in business, smuggling slaves to freedom.
In the 1850s, Garrett, William Still, and Harriet Tubman combined to bring many more slaves to freedom. Harriet Tubman is known as one of the greatest conductors of the Underground Railroad, combined forces with Garrett to secure clothing, money, food, shelter, and safe passage to all the refugees moving northward into Pennsylvania and beyond. Harriet Tubman is known to have been at Thomas Garrett's office over on Shipley Street at least 8 times.
You know, Thomas Garrett had many financial interests that helped support his activities as a station master in the Underground Railroad. He owned a blacksmith tool-making business. He was a partner in the New Wilmington Gas Company and a principal partner in the Principio Iron Furnace Company at the mouth of the Susquehanna River and the Chesapeake Bay. He also owned a shoemaking business, and any slaves that were freed that lacked shoes, he made sure that they had shoes for their long journey up north to freedom to really help and support them and make their journey much more comfortable.
Thomas Garrett was so famous in his day that he was the inspiration for the character Simeon Halliday in Harriet Beecher Stowe's book, Uncle Tom's Cabin, a book that shook the foundations of America when it was published just prior to the Civil War.
After the Civil War, Thomas Garrett spent the rest of his life living here in Wilmington, Delaware. In 1871, when he died, he was carried to his grave here in the graveyard of the Wilmington Quaker Friends Meeting House by a set of all African-American pallbearers. They say there was a line a half of a mile long stretched back down the street of a multiracial group of people that were waiting in line to pay their respects for this great abolitionist hero. By his own reckoning, Thomas Garrett shepherded over 2,700 souls out of the bonds of chattel slavery and into freedom. Standing by his graveside here in Wilmington, and on behalf of my son Jeffrey and my son Stan, I'm Stan Hitchens, and you've been watching Things You Didn't Know. Okay, here we go. Rub me win. Yay! Okay.